Remain calm, my friend, so wise, talking facts through piercing eyes. Children lost and stories shared in this world where no one's spared. Porch talks that make me laugh out loud. Hilarious moments make me proud. Life's a mix of joy and pain, sunshine after pouring rain. Stay strong, we need your voice so clear. In the dark you bring the light so near. Our hearts are heavy but you make them soar. With every truth and every porch talk more. Facts laid bare, life laid plain. Painful truths you can't contain. Yet laughter finds its way to us in each hilarious, honest fuss. Missing faces, haunting cries, you bring hope with your eyes. Porch talks in the night, we find a lighter heart, a clearer mind. Stay strong, we need your voice so clear. In the dark you bring the light so near. Our hearts are heavy but you make them soar. With every truth and every porch talk more. Facts laid bare, life laid plain. Painful truths you can't contain. Yet laughter finds its way to us in each hilarious, honest fuss.
Wowsy, wowsy. I hope you guys heard the song. Did you hear the song? Hey, Flies. I love that song. That was the other rendition of it. I love both of them. I do. Thank you so much. That is, I hope I can hold up to that song. I really do. I really, really do. I know it's kind of early for everybody. Well, it's 12:18 here. All right, let me do this very quickly. We got the dolphin cam going on today. Let me get this overlay off of here. Do. I came in late and heard the later part of it. Yes, I love that. I love it. I do. So much. So much. Well, we'll see if we're going to get any traffic in here this morning. This case is crazy. Thank you, H. I hit 1.74. Woot woot. Thank you for keeping track of that for me, H. I appreciate you, guy. I do. I appreciate you. Well, congratulations to you too, H, for all your accomplishments. Okay, this is going to be a crazy, crazy, crazy story. Hey, Dee Dee. Okay, I'm telling you, crazy, crazy story. So, oh my goodness. All right, so let me share this tab. Now, a newborn baby passed away after an American tourist, 18 years old, allegedly threw the infant out, and I'll just say trigger warning, a hotel window in Paris. Okay, so we've got a little 18-year-old girl went to Paris with a group of people. The newborn was treated urgently but did not survive. This is crazy. This is the building right here. The baby was thrown off of the second story. So hang on. I wonder which, okay, let me just get into this story. Okay, so the baby passed away after the 18-year-old threw it out the window. In a translated statement obtained by People, the Paris prosecutor's office confirmed the baby's passing, said the newborn was allegedly thrown out of the window of the second floor of a hotel. The duty magistrate went to the scene. The newborn was treated urgently but did not survive. The investigation has been opened for a homicide of a minor. Thank you, ma'am, for the trigger warning. This is pretty horrifying. So the mother was an American national, and she was part of a group of young adults traveling in Europe. She was taken to the hospital where they're going to operate on her following her delivery. So I'm not sure what complications she had from the delivery. And they also took her into custody on site. Now, the possibility of denial of pregnancy is considered. Okay, so denying a pregnancy is different than throwing your baby out a window. This story's so sad. So sad. Okay, so we have to think that this baby was full term. On February 24th, about 6 a.m., a witness alerted authorities that an infant had been thrown from an Ibis-style hotel with the umbilical cord. So the umbilical cord was still on the baby. The infant was taken to Robert Debré Hospital, located in arrondissement, whatever they call that area. 18 years old. Okay. She was on a study trip to Paris, like I said. Well, I don't understand the denial of pregnancy. Okay, so I do want to look that up. Let me come over here. That's the building. Okay, hold on. I got a lot of tabs open here. I want to see if there is a deeper explanation. What is considered a denial pregnancy. Sorry, you guys know me. I'm always looking stuff up. Okay. A denial pregnancy or cryptic pregnancy refers to a situation where a woman is unaware of her pregnancy, often until late in the pregnancy or even during delivery, and may not even acknowledge the pregnancy despite physical signs. Okay, so this is what they're considering it to be a denial pregnancy. So let me see if it tells us a little bit more in this article, because she was 18. And I guess it would depend on her stature and stuff. Okay, so this is Paris CNN. A U.S. teenager has been arrested in Paris after her newborn baby was allegedly thrown out a hotel window and passed away. The young woman, who has not been named, was taken to the hospital to undergo an operation after giving birth and subsequently placed under police custody. Her newborn baby was allegedly thrown out the second floor window of a hotel in the 20th arrondissement of Paris on Monday. The newborn was taken to emergency care but did not survive. Her mother, an American citizen, was a part of young adults traveling in Europe. Prosecutor's office said, adding an investigation into the homicide of a minor has since been opened. So they are still saying that the prosecutor's office is even saying that she could have been in denial about the pregnancy. The baby was found. This is what's sad, okay? The baby was found alive in a trash can near the hotel and was rushed to the Paris Children's Hospital, where the infant passed away. Now, okay, wait. So she threw the baby out the window and it landed in a trash can? Is that what they're saying? Pat. Hi, Pat. Hey, Pat, what did you think about the song? Did you hear the song? Yeah, there's my email. Thank you, Flies. Please feel free to email me about whatever you want. Okay, so she threw it out the window and it landed in the trash can. The caretaker of the building opposite the Ibis Hotel, where the incident happened, said she and her husband were woken by the sounds of sirens early Monday morning. Police cars, ambulance. She declined to share her surname, and added police knocked on her door looking for eyewitnesses. We thought it might be gang related, but when we learned what happened, we were devastated. She had lived in that area for 30 years, never had a problem. The case is being intensely monitored. Wow. How horrifying is that? That's the hotel right there. This is the hotel right there. It was the second story. That's why I was looking at this picture. Okay, this is the picture. So this would they consider this the second story? That probably doesn't make any sense. Thank you, Flies. I am going to I'm gonna pin that like I always do. I can hear myself. Pin the message. Yes, if anybody is interested, I did pin my Cash App. It is not a must thing. What do you guys think? Okay, so I guess we'll wait and see what the charges are going to be. And there are women who do have denial pregnancies, but she was 18 years old. So hopefully, maybe we'll get a little bit more information in the coming days that might tell us a little bit more. That building is huge. Let me see. So are they sure that she threw it out the, well, I mean, I guess they would know, right? But they're saying allegedly threw the baby out the window. They are investigating the case as a homicide of a minor younger than 15. They are really pushing this denial, pregnancy denial. The baby was, this is what I'm trying to figure out. How did the baby end up in the trash can? It was allegedly thrown from the second floor window of a hotel, and the baby did not make it. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is so sad. I wonder how long they had actually been in Paris. And like I said, there's not a lot out right now about this. Okay, let's see. Okay, I already read that. I pulled up some articles and they were in French. So I apologize because I don't do French at all. At all. So they're not giving us a lot to go on here. The umbilical cord was still attached. The umbilical cord was still attached. But if it was a denial pregnancy, why did she? I mean, she was 18 years old. So I would think the minute that that baby came out, that the baby could have been saved. Poor baby. The woman, okay, it's the woman was traveling through the Cambridge, Massachusetts-based EF Gap Year. On the group's Instagram, the company says it's college students aged between 18 and 22, their best year ever. So what it is, it sounds like that, you know, a lot of young people, after they get out of high school, they take a gap year is what it's called. And they do different things and, before they put themselves in a position to go back to school, possibly for anywhere from 4 years or more. Okay. So when this happened, they did do everything they could to treat the newborn, but the baby didn't survive. Now, the Juvenile Protection Brigade was tasked with the investigation into the homicide of a minor under 15, as I have said here previously. So people actually were walking by and passing the area when she did it, and people were screaming. So what do you guys think about denial pregnancy on this one? She had given birth in the hotel room on the second floor before attempting to get rid of the child. The traumatic scene outside of the hospital in the aftermath attracted the prosecutor's office, among many others. The baby had already been taken away, but the police were still there. It's difficult to believe that this happened here. It's not known if this little girl, she's 18 years old, she's a little girl. She's a little girl. They don't know if she did it deliberately or not. That is horrible. The U.S. Paris Embassy told the Independent in an email, "We are deeply saddened to learn of the recent tragedy involving the loss of a young life. We are aware of reports of the arrest of a U.S. citizen in France and are closely monitoring this case." That is so sad. Let's get our dolphins back up. So what do you think? What do you guys think honestly about this? Do you think it was a denial pregnancy? I mean, she was 18. Did she not have the I mean, you have to remember she's overseas. So it's not like that she is in her own country and aware of places that she can go to receive help. It is just sad. In a different country. Our world is just a really messed up place right now. Seriously. Seriously. Okay. So it is very sad. We're going to pop into a second story. And I'll keep updated on that for sure. I'm going to say trigger warning again for this one. So police say a man solicited photos on WhatsApp from a teen. Then the victim was found slain as sexually assaulted on the street. Hugo Perez Gabriel has been arrested in connection with the unaliving of 15-year-old Johnson Tamaj. This is Johnson Tamaj's picture right here. Okay, this was February 24th, 2025. Okay. A man arrested after a teenager was found unalived on the side of the road earlier in the month is now accused of sexually abusing said minor. What is that? Okay, sorry. Okay. So, like I said, this is Johnson Tamaj. And the man was arrested and accused of sexually abusing the minor. So Johnson was found unresponsive on a sidewalk in New Rochelle, New York, early in the morning of February 6th. He was pronounced unalived after being transported to the hospital. Okay, so I want to see if I can make some sense out of this. So the following day, they arrested 32-year-old Hugo Perez Gabriel and a 16-year-old boy in connection with Johnson's unaliving. The 16-year-old who is not named is the 32-year-old Hugo Perez Gabriel's nephew. The two were initially charged with concealing the remains of an individual, among other offenses. Now, the district attorney's office has accused the 32-year-old Perez of sexual assault of a minor in connection with photos he allegedly solicited from the victim. Oh, are you going to tell me that 32-year-old Hugo used his 16-year-old nephew to that's what it sounds like. I'm not sure, but I'm going to read on. Okay. Okay. The two were initially charged, okay, I just read that, with concealing the 32-year-old is that's the actual assault. Now, Perez Gabriel, it's so weird that they'll say, I mean, you know how I am about talking about a child, and this article seems to, say Johnson's first name. So appreciated. So the 32-year-old allegedly sought out sexual content from Johnson over WhatsApp just days before the teenager was found unalive. Johnson, 15-year-old victim, allegedly sent the suspects 2 videos engaging in a sexual performance. Now, I don't know why this is important, but 15-year-old Johnson is a Guatemalan native who moved to the U.S. for a better future. There is a GoFundMe set up to assist his family with funeral costs and returning his remains back to his family. He was said to be bright and kind young man full of dreams. His life was taken far too soon. He was living with his uncle, Minor Tamaj. And the uncle was at work when his nephew was said to have passed. The uncle said, I tried to call him, and then he doesn't pick up the phone. I tried to call other friends and ask if it was true, and they said yes. Johnson had a dream of opening his own business at some point in his life. Now, 32-year-old Perez Gabriel has been charged with one count of concealing remains, 2 counts of use of a child in a sexual performance, 2 counts of disseminating indecent material to minors, 2 counts of possessing an obscene sexual performance by a child, and wow. I am gonna dig into that a little bit too. It sounds like that uncle used his 16-year-old nephew to okay, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. You go, Perez. Hold on, I gotta get rid of some of these tabs I got up. $18 years old. I'm still going back to the 18-year-old who done that. Okay, hold on. Sorry, you guys. I know I'm probably snotting a little bit. Okay. I'm just looking at the I don't think there's probably anything new on this. So he was charged with dumping the young 15-year-old's body in New Rochelle. Also charged with sex crimes involving the teenage boy. He was arraigned Saturday morning after being charged, like I said, 2 counts of a child in a sexual performance, 2 counts of first-degree disseminating indecent material to minors, and possessing an obscene sexual performance by a child. All felonies. All felonies. The victim is Johnson Tamaj. He was just dumped on the side of the road. Now, this 32-year-old Perez Gabriel, right? He had a previous arrest. He was previously arrested on February 7th after a police investigation said him and an unnamed 16-year-old were responsible for dumping Johnson on a sidewalk. He was also charged with concealment of a human corpse. So okay. All right. He was charged with concealment of a human corpse, a felony, and endangering the welfare of a child, which is a misdemeanor. The unnamed 16-year-old was charged with concealment of a human corpse and second degree possession of a forged instrument. What's that mean? What does that mean? Anybody know? Of a forged instrument? We'll find out. What is considered a forged instrument? In legal terms, a forged instrument is a document or item that has been unlawfully altered or created with the intent to deceive or defraud. An example is counterfeit money, fake identification, altered documents, fake prescriptions, or fake checks. Okay. I'm glad I looked that up. Okay, so trigger warning. Johnson was found without shoes or a shirt when police found him around 6:15 a.m. It was the same day a major snowstorm hit the region. They did try to administer CPR and before he was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced. The county medical examiner's office has not released the official cause of Johnson's death. The felony complaint alleges that Perez Gabriel used WhatsApp to request as the actual material from Tamaj in early February. Tamaj sent multiple explicit videos to Perez Gabriel. I'm wondering if he thought that he was sending that to the 16-year-old. The allegations in this complaint are extremely disturbing. Trigger warning. The fact that this same defendant was previously charged in connection with the dumping of 15-year-old boy makes this case all the more horrific. My office is working round the clock to find out what happened. Perez Gabriel is in custody at the Westchester County Department of Correction, charging him with child sex crimes. So this dude Do you guys remember? And okay, so do you guys remember when I talked about Sebastian Rogers and the possibility that he this is just me talking, okay? The possibility that he had met someone online, and this is a great example of what I was talking about. The possibility that this creep was using his 16-year-old nephew is very disturbing. Very disturbing. And I'm going to grab me a cup of coffee. So hang on just a second. Okay. So that happens. That does happen. These and I really wasn't going to get into trafficking a lot today, but these individuals will take a younger person that they all right, how do I put this? Traffickers will take a victim, a young victim, and use them to attract the young people, and then the possibility of someone coming to meet basically a child, and it's not a child, or it is a child, but the trafficker is with the young child. I mean, they can make up all kinds of stuff. This is my uncle, and he's taking us here, or he's going to do that. One thing that stands out to me when I think of Sebastian's case, and let me see if I can find it. I can't remember what it was on. The individual that was extradited from Illinois back to Tennessee, or to Tennessee. And I know I've got it, and I know, Flies, you've sent it to me before. I think it was in a newspaper article, wasn't it? TBI put it out, I thought. Man gets extradited. I'll see if I can find it. Because when that happened, it really freaking bothered me. Let me see if I can find it. No, that's not it. Hold on, I want to see if You guys wouldn't believe all the I'm going to show you guys this. This is on the FBI Violent Crimes Against Children News. There's February 24, 2025. Kinsey Roy Rockman of Shiprock pleaded guilty to federal charges of using social media and text messaging to entice a minor into illegal sexual activity. The same day, Alexander John Duran of Pojok had been charged with aggravated sexual abuse of a minor. On February 21st, 2025, a federal jury in Miami convicted Michael Carl Gallenfeld of Colorado for sexually abusing numerous boys at the orphanage he founded and directed in Haiti. No, it's good. I was just talking about the article that right after Sebastian went missing, the guy from Illinois that got was extradited back to Tennessee. But I mean, that's boring to people, right? That stuff when you're talking about the Sebastian Rogers case, something like that would be boring to other people, right? Not a big deal. Not a big deal that a guy was, you know, extradited back to Tennessee. And hold on, because I'm going to find the damn thing. It might have been on I thought it was on the TVI website. Man, kids. Oh, you emailed it to me? Yeah, you did. I remember you emailed it to me. I knew I had it in my email somewhere. I don't know where it's at though. For real. I got so freaking many. I'll find it though. Because when I seen the article, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But I will find it. Because that's how I am. You guys know me. I got OCD. Last time, yeah, I talked about it last week. Okay, man gets extradited to Tennessee from Illinois for internet. Here we go. Hold on. Dang it, I keep coming up on my FBI stuff. To Tennessee from Illinois for internet. Hey, Stephen. Here we go. Here we go. You guys know me. once my OCD kicks in. Now, like I said, I don't think some thank you, Flies. Thank you. I don't think people paid any attention to this. That's my opinion. Now, some people might have that I didn't see paying attention to it. But when this happened, it really stood out to me. So, what exact day did Sebastian go missing? June, what? It was in June. Okay, so an Illinois man facing 20 child sex crimes charges in Tennessee. Hendersonville police are urging parents to closely monitor their children's use of social media and other communication methods. 1 year today. 1 year today. Wow. So, this is the guy. An Illinois man is facing a slew of child sex crime charges in Hendersonville following an investigation into the alleged sexual exploitation of a minor. Now, go back and listen to everything that's been said. I mean, it's hard to with Seth and everything. I get it. I completely get that it's just hard to keep up with all the inconsistencies and everything like that. But another thing that always stood out to me was the way that Seth reacted to the devices, how he wanted those devices back. Then, later on, what do we learn? That he had actually purchased Sebastian a laptop, I don't know, some device. I just feel that well, I feel a lot of things, but this bothers me. This bothers me. Police said 19-year-old Matthew Mocklock from Villa Park, Illinois, was arrested on June 20th at his home, facing 20 counts of especially aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor, 1 count of solicitation of a minor, and 1 count of continuous sexual abuse of a child. This dude is 19 years old. 19 years old. I couldn't even imagine what the world would be like with him in it and not being caught. They extradited him to Sumner County, and at this time is when law enforcement urged parents to closely monitor their children's use of social media and other communication methods. This comes following an increasing trend of sexual predators using social media and phone apps to lure minors into illegal activities. So we just talked about this 15-year-old boy, Johnson Tamaj. We just talked about him and what happened with him. And then you've got this creep. But could Sebastian have thought that he was befriending or actually had been befriending someone that he thought was his age, you know, maybe a little older, when in fact, and this is a sad thing too. If people really believe that these traffickers are using these children to groom and entice other children, to get them to, you know, get these children for the trafficker themselves, could you imagine how a child must feel? Could you imagine a child that's going through horrific circumstances themselves and they're being made to entice other children for this individual? That would be heartbreaking. That would be heartbreaking. People are messed up. People are messed up in the world. Let me come over here and pop up. And, you know, the thing that gets me, I think, a lot too, is the discredit of law enforcement by, you know, certain individuals, and in Summer's case and in Sebastian's case. It's heartbreaking. I could not imagine sitting and having to watch the majority of the day individuals doing horrific, nefarious things to children just to see if a child is recognized. A missing child is recognized on horrific sites. I commend those people. I commend those people. Those people looked for Summer, EquuSearch. So many people gave their time to try to help find Summer. And this is what was sad about Sebastian's case, that I seen. It was the way that these organizations were treated to come out and try to help find a missing boy. A missing boy. I mean, look at it like this. How long did it take for someone to put in someone else's ear that they were talking about sending Sebastian to one of those boys' camps? right? It's like, why wouldn't you have just said that from the beginning? What is the big deal about that? Why wouldn't you just say that from the beginning? These kids' cases, it's like, say what you need to say. So that put a whole different direction on Sebastian's case, right? I don't know. I get angry about the stuff. I really do. That's why I don't think I could really have a conversation with Seth or anything, because the minute that he would turn it into Katie, I would nip that in the bud. So I don't think he would like me very much. I'm gonna pull up his let's see if I can pull up oh, I'm glad I found this. I want to go over. Okay, okay, you guys, I have time if you want to. I want to go over Nick Barris's interview. Okay, it's on Facebook, and if you guys can't hang, that's fine. I haven't heard it yet. Blythe, didn't you mention something about Nick Barris to me? So yeah, it's 1:16. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. So if y'all want to hang out, come and hang out. You're here thinking, well, that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing. All right, so we've talked about an 18-year-old who unalived her baby in a horrific way, and we will wait to see if it was a denial pregnancy, which seems to be what they're actually pushing on that. Then we talked about a 15-year-old who was unalived and thrown out on the road like they were nothing, and a 32-year-old man and his 16-year-old alleged nephew, I'll say, are in big trouble for that right now. Horrific thing. Okay. Now, I don't, since this is Facebook, I think I'll be all right with everything. Let me make sure. And I like Nick Barris, so you guys check him out. And you guys know me, my channel, I'm all over the place. So while I'm thinking about this, I want to watch it. All right, hopefully everything's cool in the hood.
This is Nick Barris coming to you Facebook Live. We're coming to you on a Monday night, and this is on the Sebastian Rogers case. We're doing this because this week is 1 year since the 15-year-old boy with autism disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. So it's been 1 year, and I know so many people have followed this case from, frankly, all around the country. I mean, it's gone everywhere. A lot of people have been involved. So many of us care and think about this boy and want answers and want to know what the very latest is. Sebastian disappeared this week, but specifically it was Sunday night to Monday morning, and that would have been February 25th or February 26th. That is, the 26th will be this Wednesday, but I'm doing this now because it was coming off a weekend from a Sunday night to Monday morning when he disappeared overnight. Thought to have left barefoot and with a flashlight, and then was reported missing.
Okay, he left barefoot and a flashlight.
By his mother, who he was with that night at that home, and since then, not a trace. And so what I wanted to try to do here is just give you the latest of what I know about the case. There are a lot of rumors, a lot of scenarios out there on social media, which is fine because it keeps his name out there. But what I'm dealing with here is basically what I know to be factual, what I know, not my assumptions, not what I think, but more along the lines of what I've been told from the.
And that's why I like Nick Barris. He doesn't make stuff up. He goes with what is known facts.
Those who are very close to the investigation. So who am I getting this information from that I'm going to be sharing with you the basics today? The information I'm getting from where I've had direct contact within just the past week, checking back in with them, is Eric Craddock, who's the sheriff of Sumner County, okay, who from the beginning has headed up this investigation there in Sumner County. He was not the sheriff at the time that this happened, but has since become the sheriff. He heads it up. So Eric Craddock, spoken with him directly. All right, Ken Widener, who's the director of Sumner County EMA. He's not so much as an investigator, but he's in charge of every time a tip comes in of going out and searching and tracking down to see if there's anything to it. They respond. They're the emergency crews that go out and respond to that. And then I've also talked and had close contact with the man.
Okay, you guys heard that, right? If there is a tip, they immediately go check it out. They immediately check it out.
Who would be involved if this ever becomes criminal, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but that is the District Attorney Ray Whitley, who stays very close contact with investigators, including, I'll mention who else I've been in contact with, some sources within the TDI who are involved in this case. But Ray Whitley is the district attorney. He meets and talks weekly with investigators, standing by, wants to know what's going on, what the latest is with all that. That's where my information is coming from.
So right here, Nick is telling us law enforcement is on it. They're talking consistently, keeping each other informed.
Of course, I talked to some other people close to the case, people in the neighborhood, people like this who have been at candlelight vigils, the like. At one time or another, I've had contact with Sebastian's parents, but have not had any contact with them recently. They've certainly done a lot of interviews over the past year, not only on TV, but on social media. So you've heard from them as well. So,
you know, that's what gets me, because nobody cares to hear the facts. Nobody cares to hear the facts. Now, if I was sitting over here talking about Seth whacking his wanker all over the freaking place, well, I take that back, because usually if a female creator says wanker, people are interested. But you know what I freaking mean, right? You know what I mean.
that's where I'm coming from. And I know there may be some people out there that say, well, Nick, we just don't believe in law enforcement. We're not going to put our stake in law enforcement. Where's the FBI? Well, the FBI is involved to a degree that they are behind a $50,000 reward for Sebastian. I'm just looking for the latest on that. They're asking for tips to be sent to them, but also specifically to 1-800-TDI-FIND. But look, there are people that say, well, we don't have faith in law enforcement to continue this investigation. They haven't broken it after a year. Look, if you followed missing children cases in the past, and I've covered sadly enough of them, these are not easy cases to solve. And I've followed many investigations in my career. And frankly, there have been some over the years that I felt they kind of dropped the ball on this. They haven't done everything they could do. As far as I can tell, and no one's telling me to do this, I have no stake in this except I want Sebastian found safe and sound. As far as I can tell, law enforcement from the very beginning, with the search and everything else, did this textbook and used every resource that they possibly could, and they continue to do so. So if there's people out there say, well, I want to go with these, I think Dog the Bounty Hunter and others are involved. Hey, good for them. I'm glad they're involved. They're not here. They haven't been on this from the very beginning. They haven't seen all that's been done. I think the more people involved, the better.
Thank you, Nick, because I think people need to realize that, and I'm not dogging on Dog the freaking Bounty Hunter, okay? I'm not. You know, whatever, as far as Dog's concerned. They're not here. They're not here. And I think what disturbs me about all of that is because of the fact that they're not here. Or not, I shouldn't say here. They're not there. And all they're doing is listening to Seth. They're only listening to Seth because Katie and Chris will not talk with them. And they're not obligated to talk to them or anybody else. And I said this before. I don't think I would speak to him either. Period. Period.
But I'm not here to slam anyone. And I'm certainly not here to say, well, I don't buy law enforcement. I'm just going to go along with some guy says on social media. It's not the way to do it. And I think that's born out of frustration that we're all feeling right now. And we wish it could be solved. Let me tell you this. No one is more frustrated and disturbed by the situation with Sebastian, aside from his family, of course, than law enforcement. They desperately want this solved. And I can tell you right now, District Attorney Ray Whitley would love it if this case turned criminal and that there was a suspect brought before them. He would be ready to prosecute and go after them immediately. But that gets to this other point about some of the things that I wanted to hit on that is new. And then I'm going to look at your comments and try to answer what I can. Okay. But look, I've talked to them. This is not a criminal investigation. Okay. And a lot of you are going to say, well, the $50,000 reward from the FBI and it's not a criminal investigation. Let me just explain what that means. And I've talked with not only the
Okay, I'm gonna slow this down because that way you guys can definitely hear what he's about to explain.
DA, but the police chief, or rather the sheriff, this past week, and asked them specifically. Again, people are wondering, is this a criminal investigation now? And they say, no, Nick, what this is an investigation. We're looking into it and looking for any possibility. That does not mean we're ruling out a criminal investigation, but at this point, there is no evidence to indicate something criminal. So we are not calling it a criminal investigation. And you're like, well, how else could a 15-year-old just suddenly vanish? He had to be abducted. Potentially, sure. I hear what people are saying about that. 15-year-olds like this just don't vanish, do they? But there can be other explanations. And in the
I'm sorry, you guys. I keep going back to the devices. I do. That doesn't put blame on Seth in any way, shape, or form, nor does it on Chris and Katie. But for some reason, that has always been my number two.
Absence of any physical evidence, any eyewitnesses, any video that really shows him being grabbed or abducted or something bad happening, they're just calling it an investigation. It is not a criminal investigation. There are no suspects. From the very beginning, yes, the first suspect, whenever something like this comes down, are those closest to the person who's missing. And that would be the parents. Oh, you bet. I've said this time and again. They have vetted his mother, stepfather, and biological father. They have checked and double-checked their stories. They have interviewed them. The family has cooperated. They haven't lawyered up and clammed up and not cooperated.
Do you guys hear what he's saying? The family has cooperated. And I can guarantee you, my opinion, I think that Katie religiously talks to law enforcement.
Cooperated with police from the very beginning. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, his mom, she was the one there. She had to be. Really? Give us the proof. Where is it? Okay. I mean,
where's the proof?
You can go ahead and guess or whatever. There's no proof. To this point, there's no evidence whatsoever that anyone close to him had any involvement in what happened to him. So what else could have happened?
And, just popping over to okay, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. Sorry.
He could have wandered off on his own. He could have fallen into some crevice.
All right, popping back over to the Summer Wells case. Don Wells made a statement, and it was a true statement. Candace was taking a lot of pictures, TikToks, putting them out. Could that kind of be a possibility of something that happened? Possibly. I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, there's evidence Ellie is investigating criminal. Otherwise, why use Leica scan? It's only used in criminal investigations. I don't know. Discovering the truth. I don't know. What is it? Okay, so I'm not sure I know what that is. What is a Leica scan? Discovering.
They haven't searched, which I find hard to believe, and he has not been found. He got hurt. He maybe somehow ended up somewhere where he was in a dumpster for some reason and got carted away, even though they have searched a landfill. I don't know. I'm as at loss as anyone else. So in the absence of all else, do you think there's a possibility he was grabbed or abducted? Absolutely. And law enforcement will acknowledge that is a distinct possibility. But they say at this point, there is no evidence of that. They don't see anything. Trust me, if
There was no evidence either in Summer's case. These kids just poof disappeared, right? I mean, Summer's case is a lot different also than Sebastian's. You know, what's wrong with that? I would think that they would use something like that anyway. If they have video and pictures from cameras or whatnot in that area, I'm sure that they have looked at them intensely. And that is just an investigative tool, right?
there was some inconsistency or some evidence or something that pointed to any one of Sebastian's family members, they'd nail him and hope that they could break and crack him, and then Ray Whitley would prosecute. Now, I'm not saying that evidence might not surface as this continues, but as we speak here right now, there is no evidence of that. And if you're tuning in here hoping to hear some new revelation, the sad fact is here we are a year later, okay? And
Yes,
still talking to all of those who are close to this case, they are no further along in terms of any new leads. In fact, I'm told now the tips and the calls that had been coming in on 1-800-TBI-FIND have really pretty much slowed to a trickle. There just hasn't been much. I mean, the story is still out there. Of course, with time it fades, but it hasn't faded for law enforcement. I asked, is this now after a year considered a cold case, which means it's kind of on the back burner. It's not going to be solved. If something comes up, fine, but we're moving on. And they said, no, this remains an active case. We talk about it every week. We look at the possibility of any reports along the lines. All of that, okay, is something that they continue. So it is not a cold case, and it remains active. There's reward money out there. Have there been more searches? Some people said, well, they were going to wait for the...
And they talk about the 50,000 that the FBI put out. A lot of people that, you know, are talking factually, I don't often hear them adding in the amount that Nick the Hat and Dog the Bounty Hunter put in. Which is kind of strange to me, but...
The change of seasons and go out here. I know that there have been private searches conducted. I know family members have been involved in searches. I know Ken Widener has had crews out in response to certain things. I know there have been photographs sent from around the country. I had some photos sent to me today from someone who saw a person that looked like Sebastian in Salt Lake City. I think it was probably a few weeks ago that I was someplace, I'm trying to remember where it was, and I saw someone that resembled him. And you know, I just walked right up and stared at him, all right? I mean, I didn't just, oh, that might be him, I'm going to call it in. If I see someone that looks like Sebastian, I'm going up and checking. I've seen enough photos that I can tell up close if it's him or not. And I went up there. You may have thought I was a little weird. What are you looking at? But I went up there to look at him and just kind of glance, and I realized, no, that's not him. But I checked it out. Almost all of these photos, a lot of people say, well, I thought I saw someone, or there was a report in Seattle or the airport in Salt Lake City and whatever. They do their best to track those down. You know, there have been some photos from around the region here during the past year that showed someone that looked like him. They vetted that out and found out it was not him. So it remains just a confounding mystery. I'm trying to think where else to go with all of this. It's just heartbreaking to me. You know, I try to think of other cases. Summer Wells, of course, comes to mind. That's the tragic case out of East Tennessee. And that little girl has never been found. A lot of people thought maybe her parents were involved, but law enforcement never found a link to that. And she remains missing. She was, I think, only 5 years old. Another one, Joe Clyde Daniels. He disappeared. And again, after the fact, his father, under questioning, confessed to killing the boy. And there was a trial, and he was convicted, and he's serving life in prison. But had the father never confessed, had he not broken, that case would never likely be solved because Joe Clyde's remains still have never been found. People disappear. We can go back years. Janet March, remember that case from the 90s? Her husband, Perry March, is serving life in prison for killing her. It took a while to get him, but her body has never been found. So a lot of people who say, well, law enforcement's not doing a good job, they're not doing enough. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on them. But finding this when they do everything, sometimes things are like this. The Holly Bobo case. Holly Bobo disappeared for a long time. They had these suspects. law enforcement looked everywhere. And finally, it was several years later
I'm gonna let this. I'm gonna run and get a cup of coffee, but I'm just gonna let this play.
that her remains were found by a ginseng hunter in the woods. That's what it took. They had searched every place else as best they could. So these types of things happen where they can't find anything. The one thing that gets me here is that there's just no sign. It's as though he vanished into thin air. The dogs were out there. People are going to ask, were dogs used? Yes, dogs were used very early on. Drones were used early on. They've checked the ponds. They've checked caves. They've gone a large distance around the area. You would have thought, a scent that would have continued. But Ken Widener said a lot of people early on thought, well, the dogs hit on a scent and it died and ended at a pond, which, by the way, they searched. He goes, that really wasn't true. We didn't know about that. What other evidence was there? There was some evidence that I had from early on. I got it about the same time law enforcement did, you may recall, of what appeared to be some lights outside the family home in the middle of that night. It looked like lights moving, but you really couldn't make anything out. I had the story. It's out there. Many of you have probably seen it. Not long after I ran that story, law enforcement eventually had it too and analyzed it and then came back and said, there's nothing of evidentiary value in that video. To this day, I still don't know or have a good explanation for what those lights were. They're telling me, unless something new develops right now, they don't think that has anything to do with why Sebastian disappeared. I still have my questions about it, but I think they meant their word. Last week, a video surfaced by a private investigator. A couple of local media outlets, I think, ran with it. I don't know if they ran with it before they talked to law enforcement, but law enforcement said they had that video since 72 hours after the boy disappeared. They had already vetted it. The district attorney told me straight up, Nick, there's nothing to this. It is of no evidentiary value. It is not a big break in the case like someone reported. Yeah, and even if it was something significant that they thought, you can't make anything out from that video. You're not making out a face. You can't tell who it is. So there's been some videos out there that haven't guided us anywhere. That's the other thing. This neighborhood, very dark without a lot of lights. Not too many cameras captured anything. So the circumstances to this day, my heart goes out to the families, the mother, the stepfather, the biological father, all care deeply about this boy along with everyone else. And we so much want it solved. But here's the sad fact. The longer a child is missing, the less likely that child is found. Law enforcement right now, a year later, say, we cannot tell you whether or not Sebastian is alive or dead. It's heartbreaking. But where is he? Was he abducted? Was this child slavery or something like that? Why would they target a 15-year-old with autism? So many things just don't really add up. So every time I think I'm on a theory that might make sense, I think it through and say, no, that's not that. And I just am at a loss. And I can tell you there are certain things about this case that law enforcement feels they cannot talk about publicly still. And they're not going to discuss some of the theories that they can't prove. But they have theories, trust me. And they try to find evidence matching the theories. But there's nothing. There's nothing. And
I do, you guys. I go back to social media. Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese. I freaked out one time. I was at a place called Kings Island in Ohio, and we were all sitting there playing the games. There was just like lines of different games and stuff, and he was standing right in front of me. And for 1 second, it was like he was just gone. And luckily he was a toadhead. And I had he had a white shirt on too. So, that made his appearance pop out to me. But I was freaking out. But it just seems like I go back to social media. I just do.
And that's the frustrating thing. I'm not saying, this is a year later, and I think on this grim milestone, it's worth doing this Facebook Live to try to, and I'll see your comments here in a moment. I'll scroll through and try to answer, but there's not much more than when I did a update 2 months ago, or when I did an update 6 months ago. There's just nothing new to report. And it's not that they aren't working it. It's an active case.
That is, it's sad.
So that's what I had for you. And I wish I had more to share with you. I know so many people are following this story and have strong emotions and feelings about it. And I'm with you. And if some of you are angry or you don't understand or you don't agree with me, that's okay. Because what we're talking about, and I think regardless if there's disagreements, we all are coming from the same place. And that is hoping and praying that somehow Sebastian is found alive somehow and can be returned to his family. That's my goal. I have no, for people who say, well, Nick, you're just going along with law enforcement. Oh, Nick, you don't follow. I have no dog in this fight. No one tells me what to report. Okay.
That's what I appreciate about Nick, because I mean, I feel the same way. I don't have a dog in the fight over the Sebastian Rogers stuff. You know, I'm not and was never personally entwined with Seth Rogers and, you know, Tony Mathis and, you know, all those other people. They're just not people that really I wanted to ever talk to.
Go ask the questions. I get that from different sources, and I report it at what I believe to be credible. The only thing I care about, I'm not looking for clicks on my Facebook page. I'm not looking. I get paid by the station to do my news stories every day. My sole goal is to try to keep the story out there to some degree, try to answer your questions, and hopefully help in some way solve this case with Sebastian. That's it. I have no other dog in this fight. So I'm going to go with what I believe is factual and most credible. And I've tuned out a lot of the noise that's on social media because some of it, frankly, started getting pretty darn ugly. People attacking each other and saying, oh, you're...
And see, that's the bad thing about it too, because I mean, of course, Nick Barris, he is a real life media individual, but when you have to talk about missing and exploited children and there's nothing to go on, it's like they just disappear, and you want to talk about them and you want to keep their name out there, but people like the drama more. They like the drama more. You know, we look at Sebastian's case, and I mean, a lot of us knew right away with Seth and his behaviors what type of individual he is. Right? So, I have to wonder. Well, I wonder a lot of things. Okay.
That doesn't help. And I've talked to law enforcement who said throughout all of this, the social media has done absolutely nothing to help this case. And in fact, has muddied the waters.
It's muddied the waters, just like that happened in Summer's case. And in my opinion, these people aren't helping these kids. They're not helping these kids. And I don't understand how they can come out and say, oh, I'm here for Summer and only Summer, and I'm here for Sebastian and only Sebastian. When I don't think that's what it's about. I really don't. At a certain point, I've seen a few creators that have, you know, they started out and wanted to put out the factual information, and they learned very quickly that you know, adding drama or a lot of speculation and different things like that, they learned that paid off for them as far as on social media. There's no reason that anyone should send a tip to Seth Rogers. That is my opinion. Seth Rogers is not law enforcement. Yes, that is his son. Credible tips need to go to the TBI, 1-800-TBI-FIND. If you're not comfortable calling TBI, call FBI. But hey, Poppy, but that happens. People, you know, when is it really about the kids? I don't understand why. I mean, I could talk about Dog the Bounty Hunter and I would have to have another 4 hours. For real. Yes, I agree, Stephen. Call 911. If you see something, say something. But yeah, like I said, people like, people talking about speculation and fighting with Seth and fighting with Tony and Betty is still riding her train. I mean, I think that's just a train. In my opinion, she's on a hell train. And that train's gonna go and go and go and go.
Because it's just so out there. But again, in the vacuum of no information on what happened to him, I can understand in this day and age with social media how things explode. And I'm on social media here myself right now. But I'm going to stick to the facts as best I can and try to answer the questions that you may have. And I'll do the best I can. You may not like my answers, or you may not
let me know.
agree with what I say, and that's fine.
Thank
I think
you.
that's the case. You're feeling as sad and frustrated about this as I am. I'm just trying to be as fair and as impartial as possible. So I'm going to scroll back down through this and look at many of your questions and comments and see what.
Poppy, honey. Are you wanting me to go to Ziggy 3? Okay. I will do that for you, darling. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, I got to get rid of some of these. Okay, you're wanting me to go there? Oh, did you do a boo-boo? You did a boo-boo, Poppy. It's okay, girl. I thought you wanted me to see something. You're my mod. You're my mod, girl. I'm not calling you stupid. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
What we got here. Why is it all of a sudden not a criminal investigation? It's not all of a sudden not a criminal investigation. I guess maybe Elizabeth had heard that people maybe had said, well, yeah, it's criminal, or they heard investigation, they took it as criminal. It has never been a criminal investigation. It's not been ruled out. They're not saying there's no criminal activity here. What they're saying is right now it's just a general investigation. Maybe he wandered off on his own. Maybe he was abducted. We don't know. If we decide that we have evidence that he was abducted, it'll become a criminal investigation. That's what it is. It hasn't changed.
I still go back. I'm sorry, you guys. Social media keeps coming into my mind. I mean, look at the creeper that I showed you guys that was extradited back to Tennessee. Do you think he was only doing that with one child? I don't think so. Actually, I need to update that. I'll do an update on that guy too.
But it is not criminal. And what I mean by that is there is no evidence that something criminal happened here. You may suspect that, but unless there's blood, instance, an eyewitness, then there's no evidence. You can have the theory, but it doesn't make it real. You have to prove it. So it's not all of a sudden. It never has been a criminal investigation, ever. Let's see. Why don't you tell them directly what the Sumner County Sheriff's? I did. I don't know what I've left out. What else did the sheriff tell me? That's basically when I talked with him, what he told me. It's not a criminal investigation. We don't have suspects. It is not a cold case. We're continuing to work it as an active investigation. And the number of tips have dwindled significantly. And that's basically, I'm not keeping anything from you. And he may be keeping something from me in the investigation. I'm sure there's certain things the TBI doesn't want to share, perhaps. But I'm telling you what they tell me. That's all. I'm not keeping anything from you.
The tips have dwindled. The tips have dwindled. That's interesting. I don't call you that either, Flies. I would never call you guys stupid. Never. That's not how I roll. You know it. Don't even try it.
Um,
I might ask you if you lost your fucking mind, but no. Not stupid.
let's see what else.
Thank
So
you,
why did it change? A lot of people think it
Poppy.
changed, and maybe at one point some were reporting it as being criminal. I think at one point I raised that question quite often, saying, "Is this criminal? Is this criminal?" And at some point there were some that seemed to indicate that it could become that. But all I'm saying is, if that's the case, what they're making very clear now is that it is not criminal because there's no evidence that something criminal took place. There can be other reasons why Sebastian's missing besides a criminal act. But if they find evidence of it, they'll immediately call it that. And I said the district attorney's ready to prosecute the moment they go that way. So who's lying? I mean, why does someone have to say, "Oh, someone's lying"? No one's lying. No one is lying. You think there's some mass cover up because they don't want Sebastian found? Get a clue. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? I have a pic of an email.
Yeah, get your mind right.
Look, whatever. Believe what you want to believe. Okay. If you want to believe it's a criminal investigation, it changes nothing. Okay. There's no suspects. There's no evidence. So believe it. If you believe it's criminal investigation, then that feeds the narrative that yes, clearly someone had to take Sebastian because he wouldn't disappear on his own. Which, frankly, I'm inclined to agree with you. It's unlikely that he just disappeared on his own. Someone else had a hand in.
Okay, so we've got Sebastian being in the area and they just can't find him. The area has been searched. Or we have Sebastian being taken. And my mind goes back to that. But you guys know how I am, and a lot of times there have been cases that my mind has went to a trafficking situation. I mean, the FBI comes out and puts out a $50,000 reward. Right? And you may not think that's a lot, but, you know, a lot of individuals who may need money for substances or whatever, right? Might come forward and say something.
It is. But there's no evidence of it. Without evidence, you can't call it criminal. Okay? I mean, that's just it. So all it is, and maybe at one point an investigator said, yeah, we're looking at it as a criminal, but I'm just telling you, I talked to the district attorney, I talked to the sheriff, I talked to Ken Widener, and I talked to my sources with the TBI. And they said, hey, at this point, it is an investigation. It is not a criminal investigation because we don't have evidence of a crime other than a boy missing.
And this is what gets me, because Seth just continuously grinds on Katie. And that is what turned me off to Seth right there. Even though he was a narcissist and, you know, I mean, or did he say fully vetted? He fully vetted. Fully vetted, Flies, is what he said. Fully vetted. He said they were fully vetted. He didn't say they were cleared. He just said fully vetted. And that if they had found something, you know, one of Seth, Katie, or Chris would have been in trouble.
And a boy can go missing for a number of reasons that aren't criminal. I mean, that's just it. I mean, I don't think that's that hard to understand. So,
and this is the thing, too. The way that Sebastian, hey, Andrew, how are you? The way that Sebastian's been brought to us, right, is, I mean, Seth was like, yeah, he's got a 10-year-old mentality. And then, the sexual stuff and, you know, he threw that at us. So that is scary in itself. That is scary in itself. he also has, oh, thank you, Andrew. Thank you. Woohoo. Andrew, that is so sweet of you. Thank you. Okay, so, all right. Let me see if I can kind of explain this in what I've heard them talk about. So, Katie had needed help with Sebastian because at some point she had put on, I believe it was Facebook, asking someone if they could come and hang out with Sebastian a couple days a week. Okay, sorry. Chad's going back to work. So at some point, Katie needed some help. Then we know that Seth moved to Tennessee. Now, this is just my opinion on that. I believe Katie and Chris extended a little help to him to get him set up, get him working, and, you know, wanted him to be there for Sebastian to possibly take, you know, take some pressure off of Katie or whatever. Well, at some point, and I think this was a Chris and Seth thing, not necessarily Katie being happy about it, the conversation started to be about Sebastian being at Seth's for, you know, longer than what his visitation was before. Now, Chris Proudfoot said this to Seth on a stream, right? I can't remember which one. That Katie, Chris, and Seth and Sebastian all stood in the kitchen area of the house, and Sebastian said he did not want to go live with Seth. Okay? I heard that. I did hear that. It came right out of Chris's mouth, and Seth was on the panel at that time when he said it. So they talked about Sebastian being homeschooled. We know that Sebastian was going physically to a school. So at that age, to take a 15-year-old autistic boy and I think that might have been a little bit overwhelming for Sebastian. Also, I don't know if it's factual. Chris and Katie kind of having some problems. The night, and then add the social media into that. You guys understanding what I'm saying? Or am I just talking to myself? Am I just talking to myself? Talking to myself. All right. So I think that there were a lot of, you know, maybe emotional things going on with Sebastian. Now, the night that he went missing or early morning, Katie says that she was on the phone with Chris for a number of hours while she was also studying for school or something. Now, I'm sure that Katie had him on speakerphone, and maybe, I don't know if this is factual, but maybe Sebastian overheard some things that, you know, made him angry or anything like that. Now, we know Katie said that she heard a noise about 12. She wakes up the next morning, Sebastian's gone. If he had with the taking of the devices, I would think that they are probably still looking into some of the people that were associated with his social media. But Sebastian's just gone. He's just gone.
Is an investigation. It is not a criminal investigation because we don't have evidence of a crime other than a boy missing. And a boy can go missing for a number of reasons that aren't criminal. I mean, that's just it. I mean, I don't think that's that hard to understand. So call me. You want to believe it's criminal? I don't care. Fine. Let's wait and see if they charge someone or make an arrest. I mean, whatever. Believe what you want to believe. I don't know. They're saying Brandon Carter says it's a criminal. That's fine. Believe Brandon. Ask Brandon where the evidence is that proves it's criminal. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. So, if there's times where back in early on, there may have been some that said, yeah, right now we're looking at this becoming a criminal investigation. I may have reported that because I was told we're looking at it maybe becoming a criminal investigation. We think it's going to become a criminal investigation. And there may have been some who did say it was. I'm not saying you're wrong for hearing that, but all I can say is where we stand now. Perhaps there were leads they thought were going to lead to criminal investigation. They have not come through. And so that's what I'm being told. Right now, it is an investigation. It could turn criminal.
Well, I don't understand. Let me ask you guys this. According to Chris, Sebastian didn't want to go stay with Seth. Yeah. He told Seth that, and Seth said, yes, Sebastian did. Now, that could have made Sebastian leave on his own. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying because, I think Sebastian was kind of, I don't want to put Katie in that. That was Seth and Chris. Now, granted, at 15 years old, I'm sure Katie needed assistance with Sebastian. Look at what Seth has told us about Sebastian, right? Basically saying that Sebastian didn't know how to stay out of people's personal spaces. He talked about a game, whose is bigger. He was a 15-year-old boy. So who better to try to be a good role model than Sebastian's father? Now, it was even stated that at some point, Seth wasn't into the training that he was having to take, and Chris made a comment to him that, Sebastian is looking up to you right now. It's basically what he said. This 501c3 kind of interested me that it was started in California, and something's weird there, but that's for another show.
Right now, I don't know what the big deal is. As long as they're investigating it, wherever it goes. But I think everyone's like, well, it's criminal. That means there's someone out there. Well, believe that. Do I believe someone had a hand in him? This is my belief. In him disappearing as opposed to him just vanishing on his own? I think the odds are probably, yeah. But I need proof of that. And without proof of it, it's a theory.
We don't have proof
that it's criminal. Yeah, a lot of people say that the law enforcement screwed up the investigation since day one. Really? How? Were you there? I was there. I was out there. How did they screw it up? Tell me how law enforcement screwed this up from day one. Please, someone explain. Everyone's saying, so they lied to us. I guess, why would they lie? I mean,
Yeah. Why is law enforcement
what
going to
about flashlights?
lie?
I told you, they told me that the flashlights don't seem to have any evidentiary value at this point. And
Flashlights have no evidentiary value at this point. Now, we all know what these professional green team, is that what they're called, the green team? What they did in allegedly manipulating some images.
that's what I reported. I have to go with what they tell me, unless something else comes. Finally, someone quoted the correct reward amount. It is $50,000. I heard that there was some other reward money out there beyond that, but I've learned to be very, very cautious with reward money. A lot of people throw out, oh, I'm going to pay this reward. The reward will get this big. When the case is solved, sometimes the money that's really actually paid out to the person who helped solve the case, if there was one, oftentimes isn't as much as what they said originally, or it's hard to collect. Now, the FBI is offering.
Yes, there's a difference between pledging and donation. A difference in that. So I could pledge $1 million to something, and it ain't going to be donated because I don't have $1,000. Seth said Ellie told him it was trash trucks. Yes, he did say that, Flies. But then didn't he come out and try to say law enforcement told him not to talk about it? Am I wrong about that? For real.
50 grand. The FBI is offering it. You solve the case, you're going to get that money. And so it is $50,000 from the FBI. But I know some of the other monies out there. I can't vouch for it, but I've heard it's at minimum 50,000. Let's see. Yeah, this one woman says, I have a friend from high school that's been missing for almost 28 years. It's like she vanished into thin air. A lot of people wondering.
It's horrible.
A lot of people say, Nick, you told us it was. If I told you early on that it was a criminal investigation, it may have been in connection with the fact that early on, Amber Alert remains in effect for Sebastian. It doesn't necessarily mean that a child was abducted or is someone who's a victim of a crime, but it does mean that child is determined to be in imminent danger. A lot of things can go toward that. I think most of them apply to someone being taken.
And also, Sebastian's been without his medication now for a long time. Trash truck interviews from Pascal's. I wonder if he left that up because he took a couple others down, didn't he?
But all I'm saying, whatever was said before, okay, based on what some may have told us or what some of the implications were, I am telling you now that it is not criminal, that it could turn. Hear me still out there. There we go. Why we had a slow connection. Yeah, so I'm just trying to establish that, but I don't want to spend too much. Let's just assume, if you want, those of you who believe it's a criminal investigation and that we were told it was, and that's what they said, fine. Let's just assume it is. Okay, if it's a criminal investigation, it's been criminal for all this time. They must have a suspect in mind. Why has no one been arrested? Where's the evidence that makes it criminal?
True.
That's what I'm saying. If you want to believe it's criminal, fine. Believe that. Doesn't change a thing. He's still missing, and they haven't made an arrest. So let's just go ahead and say it was criminal. I'm telling you right now, law enforcement say it is not. They may have thought it was.
And so what he's saying in Remain Calm words is, if you all want to think it's a criminal investigation, think it's a criminal investigation. Nobody needs to fight over that stuff. Sent you a clip from us that got it. I sent it Friday night. When did you send it to me? You sent it Friday night? Okay, I'll have to find it. Girl, I got a lot of emails. Sunday, not Friday. So that would have been, what is today? 23rd. 23rd, 23rd. Okay. Fred said ground control. Is this it? Which one was it? This is coming to you live from the sting. Fred. Ernie. I don't know what that is. The table slapping thing, I showed that. Well, Sue, I'm really proud of him for that. If Tennessee would treat it like a criminal investigation on, why is that? Why, Bomber Cat? How would they solve it quicker if they would consider it a criminal investigation? Because, I mean, that's the thing. Does it matter? Does it matter if it's a criminal investigation or another type of investigation? I'm sorry. I don't think they're treating it as a runaway. I don't believe they're treating it as a runaway. I mean, that's my opinion. They don't know what happened to him. So that's why I kind of just think that call it whatever you want. But how do we know that, Bomber Cat? How do we know that law enforcement didn't do any forensic at all in that house? We know they searched it 9 times, right? Summers' house. But what does it matter? What does it matter if it's called a criminal investigation or a different kind of and okay, so that's what I talked about. Emotions being high with Sebastian, and you know them the adults wanting to make a change in his life that you know, possibly emotionally was hard for him. I go back to the 3-hour phone call that Katie was having with Chris Prophet. Did Sebastian hear something? Now, the thing about it is, could someone have been acting as his friend that wasn't his friend? Okay.
Was going that direction, but they're saying nothing's developed on that front. So if I said it because someone told me that after the Amber Alert early on, I can't remember. I've done so many stories. I'm just telling you what they've told me now. But believe what you want to believe. Believe it's criminal. That's fine. It changes nothing. Whether it's criminal or not, it doesn't tell you who the suspects are. It doesn't tell you any of that. I wonder how dogs couldn't pick up his scent when the mom said he left barefoot. That's a great question. That's one of those quandaries. I don't get it. You're right. You know, and that other part about, you know, the boy leaving barefoot. Why would he have gone out barefoot with a flashlight? I remember his father, Seth.
Yeah. Yeah. They did scans. The dispatch talks of them searching the home and gathering stuff. So I guess dispatch lied. That's what I'm saying. We don't know what they did inside the Wells home. We don't.
Telling me that when he was a young boy, he had wandered outside barefoot once and made his way over to a fire anthill and really got lit up. And he never forgot that. And so Seth said ever since then, he always wore shoes or something on his feet when he went outside. But this night, he went out in his pajamas barefoot with a flashlight. That's what the report was, I guess, from the mother. So what would lead you to do that? I'm thinking, okay, if he leaves his house in the middle of the night, I'm guessing he heard something and wanted to go check out.
Yeah.
Was someone outside his window? Did he hear something? Did he
Yeah.
grab the flashlight and go out quickly thinking, I'm just going to check on it and I'll come back in?
Because if Katie heard something at midnight, maybe it was something hitting Sebastian's window or something, right? They quoting people that has been proven to doctor. What? Just get rid of them. Just get rid of them. Yeah, she heard a thump. I thought she heard the thud around midnight. Yeah, I don't need you guys coming in here causing havoc with your, it's okay to have your opinions, but for real. Did she hear the thud at 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock? Sebastian went to bed around 9:30, right? Am I wrong about that? And look, you all were not there. You don't know what law enforcement did. And if you were there, then that's a whole different conversation. And I'm talking about Sebastian right now. I get that we kind of compare the Summer Wells case to that. So, and yeah, don't quote people that have been proven to doctor images over here. For real. Okay, moving on.
Otherwise, he would have taken
Flies, just freaking put him in timeout or whatever. I don't know. I believe what law enforcement says, not any creator. Oh, yeah, I believe what law enforcement says too. Look, that's what my channel's about. Talking about the facts. Okay? It's all good in the hood to have your opinion and your theories. But y'all are coming in here stating stuff like you know it's factual. All right?
time to put his shoes on? That's a great question, you know, because he wouldn't typically go outside without shoes, but he went out really quickly. See what else we got. So many people are upset that whether I told them it
Maybe
was
he
a
didn't plan
criminal
on.
investigation at some point, or misinterpreted what I meant, or maybe I did at one point early on. All I'm telling you is as we stand here now, and since I've last checked in with all law enforcement, they say it is not a criminal investigation. It's simply an investigation right now. So it's changed then, perhaps. No proof that any parent did something to him. That's right. A lot of, that's just it. I think everyone gets upset because they hear criminal, which means, okay, that means maybe we can zero in on one of the parents or something. That's the narrative you see on a lot of social media. That's fine. Just bring the evidence. Trust me, if they had anything, they would bring it, arrest them, and get them before Ray Whitley tomorrow. You think they're playing around on this? They don't have any evidence. So that's why I say it's not criminal now. Could it become criminal? Absolutely. Let's see, what else do we have? Any questions? Why? No, let's see. A lot of people say law enforcement did a bad job from the beginning, but no one's explaining to me how they did a bad job. They responded. They were out with drones.
How, that's what gets me. Because from the beginning, totally my opinion, Seth Rogers, I don't understand why he wanted to put that distance between himself and law enforcement. his son was missing. And I mean, the way that I've seen it play out, he did things and said things, you know, to and about law enforcement. I could never understand why he would want to put a gap there. The guy talked about going into a command center and looking at computers, law enforcement computers. He says they threw him out. And then says law enforcement doesn't talk to him or doesn't show him things when he knows he's already told us that law enforcement has showed him things and told him things.
They circled the area. They immediately started interviewing the parents. What did they, I mean, all these people saying this. Were you out there? Do you know how these things go? I mean, I followed the search for
Thank you,
Wells. I flew out there in a
Stephen.
helicopter. I've seen that. I remember the massive search for Joe Clyde Daniels, which, by the way, I don't think was perfect at the beginning. Same thing with the search for Holly Bobo. Those had some
Oh,
problems
thank
early
you.
on. This one didn't. This one, to me, was almost textbook in the way they handled it. Were mistakes probably made along the way? Maybe some. But in my experience, I just named several of them, this investigation was handled properly. So I just want someone to explain it. There we go. I mean, let's see. People don't vanish. I agree. People want to know if the sheriff's department is doing drive-bys to protect the community. I don't know.
Why
A
would
lot of
they
people are
be
saying,
doing
you're saying that
drive-bys to protect
Chris
the
Proudfoot, Katie
community?
Proudfoot is not a suspect, the mother. Get out of here, Nick. Look.
All right, let's pop over here. This is Pascal. This is where Seth talks about the trash trucks. Thank you, Flies. Okay, this is the Pascal show.
The video with the two flashlights on there, they showed me the whole video.
The video with the two flashlights on there, they showed me the whole video. That is what he's saying.
And then they showed me the video in the daylight too.
Then they showed him video in the daylight too.
And it wasn't flashlights. It was literally the video that was showed to the public was like a small little portion of the screen, not the whole actual screen. And it was a trash truck.
It was a trash truck. It was a trash truck. Yes, credit goes to Sane Outlaw. Sane Outlaw. Thank you, Sane Outlaw. Thank you for dropping our link, Flies.
It came through. That's why it was slow at the beginning, because it was picking up trash. And then after they picked up trash, when it came back, they were dipping it out of the neighborhood.
You guys heard that, right? Do I need to play that again? So why is he allowing his team to manipulate pictures to make it seem like something totally different? I'm going to play that one more time.
The video with the two flashlights on there, they showed me the whole video. And then they showed me the video in the daylight too. And it wasn't flashlights. It was literally the video that was showed to the public was like a small little portion of the screen, not the whole actual screen. And it was a trash truck. It came through. That's why it was slow at the beginning, because it was picking up trash. And then after they picked up trash, when it came back, they were dipping it out of the neighborhood.
Wowzy wow. Wowzy wow. They showed Seth everything. They showed him everything. They showed him the video of Katie and Sebastian in the restaurant. They didn't hide any of that from him, in my opinion. They didn't hide any of that from him. Why was he so adamant to I feel like discourage law enforcement in a way. It's just weird. It's just weird. All right, let me get through this. I'm going to hop off here in just a few minutes, you guys. I've been on here quite a while. I am feeling better, though. That always helps.
You know, did they look at them as a possibility? I told you, everyone close to him has been vetted, and they've talked to him. They've interviewed him a number of times. They've interviewed
Everyone's been vetted. Everyone's been vetted and talked to a few times.
them together, apart, to look for contradictions. They've checked any alibis, anything else. Yeah, heck yeah. Right off the bat, the most obvious persons responsible for someone disappearing usually are those closest to them. I can tell you right now, if my wife, who's downstairs on the couch watching TV with the dogs, disappears tonight while I'm up here talking to you, and I have nothing to do with it, when law enforcement shows up tomorrow, I am suspect number one. Until they look into it and realize, oh, well, Nick is on Facebook Live all night, so he couldn't have done it. I'm just saying, yeah, of course they were initially, but
Yeah.
have they done all this vetting with the parents a year later, still nothing? Hey, maybe they committed the perfect crime. But without evidence, you cannot say they had anything to do with it. And they've cooperated. They haven't lawyered up, you know? I mean, so yeah, go ahead and make your assumptions. That's just fine.
They have not lawyered up. Do you guys hear that? They haven't lawyered up. Now, Seth is lawyered up, right? As far as money at some point or something like that, right?
Fine, you know, but there's no evidence. Trying to think what else. Just trying to answer this for you. They aren't looking hard enough. I mean, I'd love it if they could be out there every day looking, you know? Someone was asking me earlier today if they used luminol inside the house, which I believe they did. They searched the house all in and out.
They searched the house in and out, and he believes they did use luminol. These people are hell-bent on making a villain for clicks and views, super chats, super stickers, cash apps. Yeah. Some of them people are making bank off of that. And honestly, if smaller channels who try to put out factual information and try to cover missing children all the time, you don't see that with their channels. You don't see that with their channels. But you do with the other channels, absolutely. Yeah. You're absolutely right about that. I went real hard on Don Wells. I didn't go that hard on Candace. And with Katie, I had to stop watching the nonsense. I did, because it's hard to make sense of somebody else's nonsense. It really is.
Luminol, again, is that chemical that under a dark light, when you put it out there, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it detects the presence of, say, a blood splatter, or if something violent happened in that home, say if he was attacked inside the home or something like that. Excuse me, my understanding is they did go through and search the house thoroughly using things like that and didn't find any evidence of that. Let's see, he is covering for Craddock and the mess up. He's best friends with the DA. There you go. Thank you, Sharon. I know you're tight with exactly who my friends are. Whatever. Okay, let's see what else. I have a gut feeling. Nick, you're lying. I told you, I'm not lying. I'm not lying. Has my story
Why
changed? Are you
would
saying at
this
some point
guy
that I said it was a
lie?
criminal investigation? It's entirely possible at some point early on, because of the Amber Alert, they said they're treating it like a criminal investigation, but they never found any evidence. But if that's the case, they backtracked it, whatever, in recent months, as far as I can remember now. And what I talked with them this weekend, they told me this is an investigation, not a criminal investigation. Now, maybe that'll change. And again, it doesn't matter. If you want to call it
And this is what gets me. Fucking people will want to argue about that. They'll want to argue about that. Oh no, so-and-so said it was a criminal investigation. Then believe it. If that's what you believe it. But why would you want to fight over that? I'm saying it's criminal. Okay, well, I'm saying That's not what I was told by law enforcement. Leave it at that. It's like they're just trying to what? Attack his character? I don't understand that.
Criminal, that's fine. Whatever the I'm just glad they're investigating. Okay. Good point. Sebastian now would be 16. He's 5'5", 120 pounds. He's got brown eyes.
Yes, I need
He's
to
obviously
pull my
Caucasian.
banner up for Sebastian
Let's see.
because
Yeah.
we are discussing
Let's see
him.
what else we got. A lot of people are upset because the law enforcement doesn't provide updates on a regular basis and all this, and they could, but they've seen what's happened with everything on social media, how it's gotten out of control. But they're kind of like, look, the moment there's something more for us to share, we will. But in general, I asked them. I'd like to hear from them more often. But it's like we'll come and go public when we have something to tell you. That's all. Let's see. Some people upset with the rude comments. Again, it's okay if you have rude comments. I get frustrated too. We're all that connection again. There we go. I mean, so I understand that. So I don't blame
you
people for
don't
being
dick
frustrated.
around with trolls.
Signal. Yeah, LA law enforcement's doing their job, but they're not going to tell you it's criminal. Perhaps. I mean, if they have a suspect in mind, they don't have evidence yet, and I'm sure there's things they're not telling us, then understandably, they're probably not going to complain on that because they're working that case. And they don't want
I
that
don't
person to be on
blame
alert.
them.
So is that possible? Yeah, I don't know.
I
guarantee you there's things
say
that I don't know that they're not telling me. Let's see. Someone saying something for dispersing the light video. Now they own your butt, Nick. I have no idea what she's talking about.
Dispersing the light video. Now they own your butt. What? Thank you for dropping all those links, Flies. I've got his FBI pulled up. I'm going to show it here in a minute.
Not do luminol on the house or the cars. So I don't know. Someone's saying they didn't do luminol on the house and the cars. I just know that they searched the house. They went into the home and they were checking for evidence that there was some act of violence in there. They didn't find any.
No act of violence found in the home.
Let's see, what else do we have? I mean, I wasn't in there when they were doing the search. I don't know if you were. Maybe law enforcement said one way or the other, but they did search the home, and that typically would involve luminol. Yeah, thank you, Nick. Unfortunately, some people have their minds made up with no evidence. And again, I understand the frustration. So many people. It's just this kid. All right, so again, people asking me what forensics they did on the home, because maybe that is why there's no evidence. Did they miss something there? Was it cleaned up? Keep in mind, I mean, if there was something in there, if something happened, it could have been cleaned up before they got there. I don't know. I know they went in and searched the home. Where and how they did luminol, I don't know. But they would check to look for evidence of blood splatter or was there some act of violence here that maybe led to him disappearing? And apparently they haven't found anything along those lines. See, a lot of people, point to the mother because she was the last one with him.
Maybe Sebastian heard something. Maybe when, okay, was I wrong about the Katie hearing something at midnight? Sweetie, what do you want? Hey, give me just a second, you guys. I'm gonna let my cat out. Wow, it is really pretty today. Hold on, Poppy, hold on. I thought that she was on the phone with Chris for about 3 hours, and Sebastian went to bed like at 9:30, and Katie went to bed and heard the noise around midnight. That's what I thought. So, but I could be wrong. If I am, let me know.
I understand. I mean, but you know, no evidence. I mean, you think this is a mother that's lost her child, and to be accusing her with no evidence, it's heartbreaking. I don't know. This Carter dude maybe called it a criminal investigation. Whatever, that's fine. Like I said, I'm not going to argue that anymore. If you want to believe it's criminal, that's fine. Look, I hope it becomes that, and they can make an arrest. That would be great. I just don't believe that's the case right now. Could change if some evidence suddenly surfaces. Someone's saying this child has a medical condition that needs medicine. You wouldn't go for a year without medicine and treatment. I don't know exactly what medicines he was on, but yeah, that's true. That's a concern.
But remember, Seth wasn't giving Sebastian his medicine when he was at his house. You guys remember him saying that? He didn't give Sebastian medicine when he was at his house. Y'all don't think that that's something that might be important to think about? I mean, if we're thinking about all the possibilities of things that could have happened. So, approximately how long could Sebastian actually go without his medicine? Right?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. What else do we have here? Yeah, again, someone reminding call-in tips. 1-800-TBI-FINE. One sad thing about this is that they say that the number of tips have really slowed to a trickle of late, and that's unfortunate. Nick looks worried. Don't mess with a bunch of mama bears, Nick. Hey, if you're a mama bear and you care about this kid, then we're on the same page, you know, and believe what you believe. I'm not worried because I agree with you. It breaks my heart.
It is heartbreaking.
Let's see, did the LE tell you they confirmed the identity of the shadow figures? This in that most recent video that they debunked from last week, that a couple other media, all they told me about it was that there was no evidentiary value on it. So I take that to mean that, you know, even if there was something that they thought was important to it, they weren't able to make out who that figure was. So they just said there was nothing to it and that they had that within the first 72 hours after he disappeared.
Okay, again, they had the shadow figure video 72 hours after Sebastian disappeared. 72 hours after. No evidentiary value.
That's all they told me when I asked them about it. Why does everyone want him to be deceased? He could have just left. I mean, well, yeah, we don't know if Sebastian's dead or alive right now. I don't know anyone that wants him to be dead. I mean, it's possible, certainly, that he's alive. At least we have to hope that. But if he's not, at the very least, he needs to be found so he can have a proper burial and his parents can, you know, deal with that.
Absolutely.
Sorry about the buffering. Everyone wants Eric Craddock to speak. They'd be picketing the office. What do you want him to tell you? He's not going to tell you anything different than what I just told you. You know, I mean, that's what he's going to tell you. I want him busy working the case, not having press conferences every day. Yeah, and again, someone's saying, do you have a theory? I mean, I don't. I mean, I have several theories that have gone through my mind. I want to be impartial. All I've said today is that I believe that there's a real possibility that this wasn't Sebastian disappearing just on his own. Now, who or how and why this was involved? Did he leave willingly? Was he abducted? I don't know. Because I'm of the belief with a lot of other people that you just don't vanish without a complete trace at any.
See, and that's what I'm saying too. I just don't see him just disappearing on his own.
Moment. I'm of the belief that perhaps somehow, not long after he left that house, he ended up in a car driven away, or the dogs would have picked up his scent somewhere else walking. If he was just walking around the neighborhood, they would have picked it up. So that's kind of what I think. Nick, you said it was criminal. Again, I'm not going to deal with that anymore. At some point, I said I was criminal.
Why do people want to fight over whether it's a criminal case or not? If it is a criminal case, then they're not telling us who their suspect is. All right, I'm almost done with this, you guys.
There was something early on that may have been said that in connection with the Amber Alert, or they thought it might become criminal. Okay. All I know is it's changed. If that's the case, everyone I talked to this week said it is not criminal at this point. It is an investigation.
Okay, I'm going to end that there. Thank you, Nick Barris. You're a cool dude. And I appreciate your honesty in telling the facts in Sebastian's case. Wow, that's a whole description. All right. Date of last contact for Sebastian was February 25th, 2024. Missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee. He was 15. He is now 16 years old. These speculation and rumor channels needs a villain to make money. My concern that if Sean has bashed KP on YouTube as he makes me wonder what was said in front of I get it, Poppy. I get it. You're just yelling at me, Flies. That's what you're doing. Your capital letter is not stuck. Quit yelling at me, lady. That, you know what, Poppy? That's what I said. How? I mean, he's kind of shown us how he is. Sean has. And it makes you wonder, it just makes you wonder what that relationship was really like. Sebastian's case number is 2014106. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, height 5'5", 120 pounds. That is subject to change. I'm sure that has, changed in, many different ways. If he gained weight, he's at 15. Don't they go through like a growth spurt, right? Yeah, me too, Poppy. And we know how Seth talks about Katie, and I couldn't imagine the things he was saying to Sebastian. He was last seen in Hendersonville, Tennessee, Sumner County. Last seen at approximately 10 p.m. on 2/25/24 Central Time at his residence in Hendersonville. Last seen wearing black sweatpants and sweatshirt, possibly left barefoot. Now, do you think if Sebastian stayed on the sidewalk that he would worry about having shoes on? He didn't walk through the yard, possibly came out on the porch, or, somebody possibly drove up. I mean, I'm sure they would have that on video, though. He's got strawberry blonde hair, hazel eyes. He was wearing black square framed prescription glasses, black sweatpants, and sweatshirt. These are actual photos. I always like this one. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. Coached, maybe. Well, that's the thing. People don't take into consideration what the what his environment was like as far as emotionally. He was 15 years old. And yes, my mind goes back to possibly meeting someone through social media or even at school. I mean, we just don't know. We just don't know. I remember a lot of people were, really on Katie, and they were like, why would you go to the school? Why would you go to the school? Well, Sebastian had autism. So, sometimes an autistic child they know a routine, right? And one of his routines was going to school. So I do not blame Katie at all for driving to the school to see possibly if he was walking towards the school or something. Yeah, my parents were like that. They were like that. I mean, so, but I've covered what, 4 different stories this morning. We will keep an eye out for the 18-year-old who allegedly, I have to say allegedly, threw her baby out of a 2-story window. They are not sure if it is, a denied pregnancy. We talked about that. We talked about the 15-year-old that was manipulated on WhatsApp by a 32-year-old man and his 16-year-old nephew. So we will keep an eye on that. I showed you guys the individual that was charged with all the SEX crimes being extradited back into Tennessee. And then we talked about Sebastian. So I know that was a lot on everybody's plate. I know it was. And I know that I still have to talk about the 19-year-old from Texas. And I promise we will get to that. But, I do hope Sebastian's found. And, Andrew, thank you again for the $5, honey. I'm going to call you honey. I appreciate that. That is super cool of you, my friend. Super cool of you. While your computer's working, will you drop Andrew's link? Would you drop Andrew's link for me, please? I appreciate you, Andrew. I don't care what anybody says about you. I don't care what anybody says about you, Andrew. You know I never have. Clicked all the way out of YouTube and back. Okay. Well, I do appreciate you guys, and I'm glad I feel better today. So I only got a cramp in my leg one time today. So, but I don't know if I pop on later tonight. It'll be something fun. We'll do something fun if I get a chance to pop on. I'll find some funny stuff for us. Thank you, Flies, for dropping his link. So I do appreciate you guys. And, we just got to remember that you're fine, Poppy. That was really funny, I have to say, Poppy. You made me laugh today. Thank you, ma'am. For sure. Should I play our song one more time to take us out? Let's play our song that my good friend wrote for me. Her name is Flies on the Coastlaw. We got flies on the coastlaw. Flies on the coastlaw, and don't you swatter away. Flies on the coastlaw. Flies on the coastlaw. Flies on the coastlaw. If you're nice, she will make your day. Except for you, Ernie. And Ernie, let me say this, okay? Remain Calm is not your average woman on YouTube. I am not going to sit around and wait on you. I'm not going to end a live to come over to your live, nor would I expect for you to do that for me. But don't play me. Don't play me. Okay? I wasn't playing your game last night. I wasn't. I'm making coleslaw, so you better keep your ass off flies. Ernie, is that really you? Is that really you, Ernie? Do you want to come up here and talk to me? I don't want to talk about he admitted he was stolen valor. Now he needs to apologize to the real vets and stop his life. Yeah, I do agree with that, Ernie. I do think you should apologize. Because even if you did it just to you know, as a YouTube spiel or whatever, for real. There's the link if you want to take it, Mr. Ernie Shell. And no, I'm not going to call you out on your fibbing or whatever. Okay? I want a real conversation with you about Summer's case. So, if you would like to come up and have the conversation, I would really like that. I really would. If you don't, then put in chat that you don't. That way, because I was getting ready to get off. Not in a weird way. So, I don't mind. I don't mind. Well, I'm just a different kind of character. I am a different kind of character, Mr. Ernie Shell. Like I said, I don't care. Okay? You got plenty of other people coming at you over whatever you're doing, whatever you done. I don't need to do that. My interest is Summer Wells. And come on, Ernie. Seriously. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, Summer talk only. That's all. And in my chat, Ernie, I don't allow people to come in and attack people, for sure. So, come on up here. And just like that, he made you wait for him. Yeah, I'm just giving him a couple minutes because I'm getting off here. He ain't making me wait for him. Maybe he's putting some perfume on or something. All right, anywho, I'm getting off here. Yeah, I'm not playing around, Ernie. Not when it comes to summer. I don't play around like that. So, thanks for popping in, I guess. Good luck with all your future endeavors. If you ever really want to have a serious conversation about it, I'm here. But no, I ain't going to sit here and wait on you. I don't play that way. So you don't need to say, oh, I made Remain Calm sit there and wait on me. Isn't she stupid? No, sir, I'm not stupid, okay? So like I said, you ever want to be serious and have a real conversation about a missing little 5-year-old girl who is much older now, you know where to find me, Ernie. You know where to find me, obviously. So, all right, I adore you guys. Thank you guys so much. And we are going to go out with our little, our theme song. I have a theme song. Can you guys believe it? All right, here we go. Ernie, if you change and apologize and stop the crap, I believe you could stay, make it big here, maybe even bigger than before. Yeah, we're definitely not a drama channel over here. Okay, so here's the song, you guys. Here's the song.
Remain calm, my friend, so wise. Talking facts through piercing eyes. Children lost in stories shared. In this world where no one's spared. Porch talks that make me laugh out loud. Hilarious moments make me proud. Life's a mix of joy and pain. Sunshine after pouring rain. Stay strong, we need your voice so clear. In the dark, you bring the light so near. Our hearts are heavy, but you make them soar. With every truth and every porch talk more. Facts laid bare, life laid plain. Painful truths you can't contain. Yet laughter finds its way to us in each hilarious, honest fuss. Missing faces, haunting cries. You bring hope with your eyes. The porch talks in the night. We find a lighter heart, a clearer mind. Stay strong, we need your voice so clear. In the dark, you bring the light so near. Our hearts are heavy, but you make them soar. With every truth and every porch talk more. Facts laid bare, life laid plain. Painful truths you can't contain. Yet laughter finds its way to us in each hilarious, honest fuss.
I love that. I love that. And let me say this, Mr. Ernie Shell. We are for the children. We are for the children. You say you're for the children? I don't know. When you get serious about a conversation about Summer Wells, please feel free to stop in again. All right. Peace out, everybody. I adore you guys. Thank you for hanging with me. Remember these babies that are missing. Hey, loves. You know, we got to keep their name out there. We just got to keep their name out there. It's very important. I mean, some of the cases that we cover over here is just wow. Even I say wow sometimes on some of these cases. But guess what? We're going to keep doing it. Because over here, Ernie, it's not about the clicks and the views or the money. It's about being for the children, really being for the children. All right. Adore you guys. Peace out. Have a great day. I'm going to get back busy doing a few things around here. I adore you guys. I love my mods. You guys are great people. I wouldn't change any of you guys. I wouldn't want any of you guys to change for real. So peace out, you guys. Have a great day. I will catch you next time.